Itong computer. EC2 section. EC2 is one of the most popular of AWS offering. It's the most commonly used service sa AWS. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, okay, which is an infra as a service. Elastic because you can provision on the fly. It can be scalable, no? It can be highly available and can do on demand, no? Elastic. It mainly consists in the capability of renting virtual machines. Okay, so rent yung server niya na may operating system. It can store data on virtual drives. Ang hard drive niya is EBS. Okay, EBS, ang hard disk niya, no? Could be solid state or magnetic. It can do distributed load balancing. You know, yung enhanced load balancing. Pwede ma-load balance to. And it consists of scaling the services using auto-scaling group. So it can be ASG. No? Explain ko yan, EC2, EBS, ASG. Knowing EC2 is fundamental. So to understand how the cloud works is by performing hands-on. Ito na, mag-hands-on tayo later. So first of all, sizing and configuration. So kailangan may operating system. Okay? So gagawa tayo Linux lang. Hindi na tayo gagawa. Magsiselect na tayo operating system mismo. Whether Linux, Windows, macOS. So first, we need to identify ilang CPU kailangan natin. For this demo, 1 lang. And then next question, how much random access memory do you need? 1 lang kasi Linux hindi demanding. But Windows 4 gig, di ba? How much storage space? Sa Linux, minimum 5 gig. Pwede din 5 gig. If Windows, 120 gig. Anong hardware kailangan natin? Siguro whatever available doon sa region na yun. Let's say Intel Core or AMD. Hindi natin alam, na. Then 1 network card na may public and merong private. Ano ulit yung public? To connect to the internet. Then we're gonna set a firewall rule. Gagawa tayong security group na we will allow SSH only. And then meron tayong bootstrap script. Pag sinabing bootstrap, ito yung you will install the software during first launch. So yung first launch matagal. Second launch, mabilis. Kasi mag-install tayo ng Apache, which is a web server. Okay? Bootstrap script. Ano rin yung bootstrap? It will do configuration or installation during the first launch. No? EC2 user data naman, it is possible to bootstrap our instances using data. So copy-paste lang, whatever you want. Bootstrapping means launching commands when a machine starts or after in provisioning. The script is only run once. So second boot, hindi siya mag-i-install ng Apache. Okay? EC2 user data is used to automate boot tasks. So ano ino-automate sa user data? If you want to install update, if you want to install web server, if you want to download the latest patches, or anything you want, no? Ang user data script runs using root user. So it can do pretty much everything. Okay, ito na, hands-on. Follow na natin. Follow nyo na. If you want to watch, you can watch. I'm going to launch an EC2 running Linux. So I'm going to launch our first virtual server using console. We're going to get a first high-level approach. No? Meaning, talagang bit by bit, pinaka-simple. No? We will set our first web server using EC2 user data. So sa data, lalagyan ko ng bootstrap script. Then we'll learn how to start and stop the services. Okay? So ito na. Kung gusto nyo sabayan nyo na. So pupunta ako sa console. Okay, this is console. EC2 instance. Sabayan nyo kung gusto nyo. Nag-create na ako kanina. To launch an instance, just click launch. Okay. Then ang free tier, I'm going to be using free tier, so you won't be charged. I'm going to be using Amazon machine image. This is created by Amazon. It's a Linux. Okay. Okay. Linux 2 comes with 5 years support. May support pa yan. It's using kernel 5.10 and optimized na siya for EC2. Meron na siyang mga binary utilities and latest software package. Mind you, this was created a few months ago or a few years ago. So that's why you still need to update. Okay. So there are 2 flavor, ARM, no, and 64-bit. I'm using Intel 64 bits. So I'm gonna select Intel. I mean, yung machine na gustong gawin should have an Intel CPU. Okay, Intel CPU. Then by default, you will be prompted by a free tier. Okay, so this is 12 months free. Pero 750 hours lang, meaning 1 month free lang naman talaga to. T2 Micro consists of 1 CPU and 1 gig RAM, which is enough. Okay? Then click next. And then question dito, how many instances you want to spin? Let's say gusto mo 100 instances. You can just easily type, okay? Pero isa lang muna gagawin ko for demo's sake. If you wanna if you wanna purchase spot instance, so you have the option to request spot instance and specify the price you are willing to pay. If you bid higher, the current spot price, you will be the winner. So the higher bidder wins, no? And then meron tayong network, which is you can launch VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. You can create VPC and select your own range. Dito sa VPC, you will create your own subnet. So I'll just follow whatever subnet they have, like 10.0.0. something. And automatic configuring routing, but we can create our own routing. Okay, let's say gusto 10.1, pwede yan. And you will configure network gateways. Gateway is very important. This will connect to the internet. Without gateways, your VM will not be accessible. By default, meron na siyang VPC. So hindi na ako gagawa. No? Subnet, meron akong availability zone. No? Like AC, A, B, and C. Okay, so no preference wherever, kung saan lang. No? Pero kung gusto sa A, I can select A. Okay, sa A, meron akong available na 4090 IP address. Okay, then auto assign, meaning if you enable this one, you will be given a dynamic IP which I can connect via PATI. No? Host name, no, it can be a resource name or it can be an IP name, no? Or whatever you want. No? Then enable IPv4. Okay, so you can get IPv4 instead of 6. Capacity open, pero by default it's 5 gig for Linux. Na? I'm not gonna join this one to Active Directory. Wala rin akong gagamiting IAM role. Na? The moment I click shutdown, will it stop or will it terminate? If you select terminate, you won't be billed. If you select stop, you will be billed. No? Kahit naka-shutdown yung VM, may billing pa rin yan. No? If you wanna hibernate, no, you can select this one. Pero demo lang naman tayo. Na. If you wanna enable termination protection, let's say hindi madi-delete, select this one. Okay, and so on, napakadami, napakadami, no? Then ito yung user data. Ito yung bootstrap script. Okay, so anong gusto nating gawin dito, no? So meron na akong ready-made na bootstrap script. Gusto ko mag-install siya ng web. Okay? So I'm gonna send this one to you later. Okay, ito yung bootstrap script ko. So this is a bash, bin bash, sudo meaning elevate permission, sudo to super user. Yum is a tool, no? Yum, if I say update, it will do patching, download the latest update, and minus Y meaning auto answer yes. Do you want? Kasi kung hindi, tatanungin ako, do you want to install, do you want to install, do you want to install? And then we're gonna install the web service, which is Apache, and then start Apache, and then check config on, and then we're gonna go to the root of HTML, and then inject natin to. Okay, sabihin natin, welcome to Nexus web server to test if our server is up and running. No? Pero you can paste, you can put the real HTML, index HTML. Okay, so review and launch. So dito, review, 1 CPU, 1 RAM, enough. Well, anyway, it's free. Access only is SSH. This is the security group. Remember, meron tayong web server. So we need to allow port 80. So pupunta ka dito. Edit security group. So mag-add ako ng rule. Add natin web, which is HTTP. No? HTTP port 80. Access anywhere. using IPv4 as well as IPv6. Okay? So HTTP. If you want HTTPS, you can do so by selecting HTTPS. Okay? Pwedeng custom, tanggalin mo yung IPv6. Okay? Yeah. Custom. Sorry. You can grant this one to access using my IP address. Ito yung IP address ko. Ako lang, no? Or custom, no? 00. Yan. IPv4. Okay? Click review and launch. Launch na natin. Now, dito may key pair. Remember, I'm coming from Sydney. So, meron akong key pair. So, if this is your first time, create a new pair. Ngayon, second time ko na kasi. I'm gonna be using existing Sydney key pair na dinownload ko. So, launch. Okay, so while launching, I'll show you my key pair. So, dinownload ko. Andito yung key ko. So, ayan, PEM. It will be PEM. And then, you need to download PATI. No? From pati.org. So, install nyo yung PATI. PATI is, will give you console access. Na-install ko na pala, no? So, na-install ko na. So, all I need to do is type PATI. Ayan. I need PATIGen. No? PATIGen muna. Okay, PATIGen to generate a key. Because this is a public key, na magge-generate ako ng private key pairing. Okay? Kasi why do you need to do that? Kasi nga, public key can be generated by the server. And for some reason, they can still be intercepted. No? Pwede sila ma-intercept. Pag nakuha nila yung key na yan, they can be able to log in, no? If they know my username and password. So, to make it more secure, I will hash out or I will translate the public into a different hexadecimal key or yung sarili kong key pair. So, generate ako. Yan. So, randomness, random yan. Wala nakakalam yan kundi ikaw lang. No? Okay, ikaw lang yan. So, which is ang tagal. No? Pero at least, secure connection na yan. Okay, so gagalaw-galaw yung mouse mo. Sabi, move mo. Okay, yan. So, ito yung key pair na na-generate ko. Yan, yan. Ito yung fingerprint ko. Unique fingerprint. Okay, another way is kahit wala yan, okay lang yan. So I'm gonna load the PEM key. Load the PEM key. Hanapin nyo, nasa downloads lang yan. PEM key, nag-iisang PEM key. Saan yung PEM key niya? Details. Downloads. Sorry, hindi mo pakikita yung PEM. Star. Ayun, PEM. Load the PEM key. Nag-iisa lang naman yan eh. Success. Okay. Save private key. Are you sure you want to save this without password? Yes. Okay, then save the key Sydney. So tawagin natin kung ano, private. Okay, Sydney private. And as well as public. Tawagin natin Sydney public. Okay, save. Okay, so may key na tayo. And then go to the Ec2 instance. So this instance, sabi dito, view your instance. View instance. Okay, so ito yung instance na yan. So put a tag. Sabihin natin AM2. Amazon Machine Image 2. No? So this is the instance ID. If you click this one, ito yung details. Okay, instance ID. IPv6 disabled. Host name. Ito yung somehow fully qualified domain name. Instance type T2 micro. Operating system Linux created today. And behavior. Currently running. This is the IP address. You can use this one. No, ito yung via web, no? Kita niyo hindi pa nagra-run, no? So, copy the IP address. Okay? Open PATI. PATI, hindi PATI dyan, PATI lang. Then paste the IP address. Port 22. And then nakita, yan. So, it's asking for a fingerprint, no? Which is a unique ID. Trust, do you want to trust this? Yes. So, yun ako. Na? Ang login ID is ec2-user. Ec2-user. Okay? So, may nalimutan ako. I forgot something. So, lagi ko nalilimutan to. Sa PATI, no, para hindi ka na no need for password, you have to type the IP address. Pero dito, Ec2-user at IP address. And then you have to go SSH. Yung authentication should be provided the private key. No? Yung private key, kailangan ma-provide mo yan. Kung tama yung key na yan, I will be logging on successfully. Now, I want to save MI2. I want to save. Let's see if I can connect. No? Ayaw. So, PATI. Okay, so ulit tayo. EC2. Load ko nga yung dati ko. Ano ba yung ginawa ko dati? Pareho lang naman eh. Okay, this is my new IP. And then, sa auth ko, what did I load? Private naman eh. Ba't ayaw niya? Tama yan eh. Ano ba bang key? Ba't ganun ang public? Okay. PATI. Saan yung PATI ko? Nawawala. PATI. Ec2-user, SSH. So dito nilalagay yung private key. Tama naman private key. Somehow, for some reason, ayun, nakapasok ko. I was using a different key. Okay, yeah, nakapasok na ako. You don't have to enter the password because I use my own private key. So ito na siya. No? So if you wanna make it look bigger, just go to appearance, change the size into 16. Let's say gusto natin bold. Apply. Laki. Okay? Laki, no? So dito sa ating first Linux server, remember yung ginawa natin kanina, di ba? Ang ginawa lang nun, raise elevation to sudo super user. And then nag-install ang update, yum install, yum update. If you don't type Y, no, it will keep on asking for confirmation. So I put Y, sasabi dito, no package mark for update kasi nga nag-update during bootstrap script. And then yum install httpd, which is Apache load plugin. Sabi dito, nothing to do. Already installed on the latest version during bootstrap script. Now we want to start the service httpd start. Okay, so start httpd. If you want to check the status, just type status. So what's the status? Anybody? Running. Okay, running siya. No? And then if you're gonna go to index.html, var, dub, and HTML. So nandito lagi ang index. Ayun, ls-altr. Ayun yung ginawa nating index. If you wanna examine ano ba naman ang index.html. Yan ang ginawa ko. Welcome to Nexus web server. Okay? So test na natin if the web server is running. So all you need to do is copy the DNS name, no? Copy mo yan. Ito yung DNS name. Tingnan natin kung ma-access natin yung web server natin. Oh, working. Welcome to Nexus Web Server 1. Okay, so working na yan. So if you wanna edit vi, just vi index.html. Okay, so ito yung HTML. Press I to edit, insert character. Sabihin natin, welcome to Nexus. Sabihin natin Nexus lang. Tanggalin natin tong yan, tanggalin natin. Welcome to Nexus only. Okay? Then press escape. Colon. Kita niyo to, colon. Quit. quit, no? W write, then bang to save, okay? Hindi niya kilala. Hindi niya kilala. Colon, quit, right. Shit, nalimutan ko na. Hindi na kasi ako nag-Unix eh.
WQ.
Tama, right Q. Galing, galing. Sabi ko na nga ba, WQ yun. Oh, welcome to Nexus. Now, we're gonna visit. Okay, refresh. Oh, di ba? I didn't even restart the web service. No, web service. Okay. Now, this URL is not pingable. Okay. Ping -t. Teka, ba't may HTTP? Tanggalin natin HTTP. It's not responding to ICMP request. Kasi nga, we haven't opened the ICMP. Tama? So, bubuksan na natin yung ICMP. So, how do you open para maping natin? So, punta ka sa security group. Remember security group? Okay, sa security, we only define secure web, SSH and AT. So we need to add more. Okay, mag-add tayo ng ping. Kasi hindi mapping, isa hindi mapping eh. Oh, hindi mapping. Kasi ito na. So edit the security group. Okay, edit. Kita yan. We only edit the inbound. Edit inbound, add ka ng ICMP. All ICMP. Okay, all ICMP. Anywhere. No? It can be reachable anywhere in the world. Save. Okay, it's committed. Then you have to wait for a few seconds. Yun, seconds lang. Pingable na siya. So that's the function of security group. Na-feel nyo na? Na-feel nyo na? Block natin. Patayin natin. Pero this will take a while. Tatanggalin ko to. Di-delete ko na tong ping. Teka, ano yung di-delete ko? Mali yata na-delete ko. Ito yung ping di-delete ko. Okay. Na-delete ko yung HTTP. So, dagdag natin HTTP. Balik natin. Yan, okay? Anywhere. Okay? So, I deleted ICMP. Save. Okay? So, kumbaga, dapat, later on, tama na notice nyo, sir, ba't di pa nag-take effect? It will take a while. Ang tagal na. Now, question, paano may outbound? If you're gonna examine thoroughly, no, kung pen tester kaya, ito yung delikado eh. Tingnan niya. Any outbound, all traffic is allowed to any protocol and any port range to anywhere in the world. Delikado, di ba? So that's why siguro yung video na attack kasi from computer, they can send out. So yun ang strategy ng hacker. So from this, going out, nakabukas lahat. So that's why he was able to create TCP reverse connection. Kasi TCP traffic yan eh. So from victim, kung ito yung victim, nagkaroon ng keylogger, anything entered into his computer or punched sa keyboard will be sent. Kasi nakabukas nga yan. No? And by default, naka-on yan kahit sa Windows, Linux, AWS, Amazon, Azure, and anything. No? So ideally, dapat you will only allow what you need. No? Allow SSH, allow HTTP. Mga ganun lang. No? For best practice. Okay? Yun lang i-allow niya. No? Okay? Clear ba yan? Clear ba yan? So, success. We have our own first server. Okay? So again, if you want to update, how do you update? Install, update yan. Update the software every now and then to avoid yung attacks. Okay? Laging i-update siya. Okay, that's our hands-on. So how many Ec2 instance type? Napakadami. No? If you go here, no, meron siyang Mac. You can also launch virtual Mac. Okay? He can utilize i7, pero wala dito M1 CPU. Bago lang kasi yan eh, di ba? Meron namang, ito yung T2 micro ko. T2 micro, pinakamaliit. 1 CPU. Meron akong 6 credits, plus 1 gig RAM. Okay? What about Windows? How do you do Windows? Well, ideally Windows 4 gig, di ba? Ako, ano ako eh, D-sum, hindi pala dito. I'm talking about Microsoft. So you would select T2 small, no, 2 gig RAM. or this one, T2 medium kung Windows. Okay? So what is M6i? M6i powered 3rd gen Intel. Codename Ice Lake. Okay? Na feature nito, he can run up to 40 gigabit na bandwidth. Bilis. Ano na may A1? A1 medium, network performance, 10 gigabit din. Laki rin yan. M5A, ito na yung AMD. If you wanna harness the power of AMD CPU, this is your option. Napakadami. Okay? And that's only for general purpose. If you want high power, high performing computing, HPC na tinatawag, which has 20% higher enhanced network bandwidth, you will choose compute optimize. Kung memory intensive naman yung application nyo, select R. Sa exam, lalabas yan. What is the memory optimized instance? No? R, X2. Yun lang tandaan nyo, R and X. Okay? R and X. How about accelerated computer? P, T, GFVT1. So you need to remember those. No? Optimize for storage. Imagine for data, D3. No? So question, gusto yung mining. Pwede rin kayo mag-mine. Magre-rent na kayo ng GPU. No? So 8 GPU to. Okay. Pa-speed niya is 19 GB. Wow, ang bilis na. Solid state yan. 8 tigwa 1 terabyte na NVMe. Okay? Mas malaki pa yung gastos nyo kaysa sa kikitain nyo. Okay? It's using NVIDIA. Di ba yung mga Bitcoin miner, later on, na-realize nila, sandali, kita ko $5 a day. Then after a month, magaling bill nila, 20,000 pesos. Mas makikita nyo sa Lazada or sa Marketplace. I'm selling my mining rig. 3 buwan pa lang sabi na, this is only for the last 3 months. Nagbebenta na ng mining rig. Kasi bumagsak nga yung Bitcoin, di ba? Plus yung mga sympathy stocks such as ADA, Cardano, and so on. So Ec2 instance, napakadami. So if you want to identify, no, M meaning instance class, 5th generation, 2x large meaning size within the instance class. No? And then merong optimized for compute lang, optimized naman for high memory usage such as SQL, maraming memory kailangan. And kung puro networking such as routing, switching, ang function nyo, yung instance na yun. No? So, ang compute optimized, saan ginagamit? Batch processing, no? Like yung mga bangko, they have this cycling every 6 p.m. Cycling na namin. So magra-run na yung COBOL program nila. Kukumit na sa main branch. No? Another one is media transcoding, yung mga machine learning such as recognition. They need to be processed quickly, no? Yung mga media. Then high performance web server, ito na yung mga fault tolerant, highly reliable, and so on. Optimize pipiliin ninyo, no? So on. Meron naman memory optimized ang ginagamit sa mga databases. No? Kasi kailangan nilang cache. Yung frequently accessed file, kina-cache nila. So kailangan ang cache nasa memory. Okay? Storage optimized naman, i3, NT, H, no? Cache for memory database pa rin, such as Redis. So ang caching method naman ito, hindi sa RAM. Sa flash SSD, no? Mga SSD card. And normally, ang storage optimized is used for SQL online transaction processing. Okay. So, instance type example, yung T2 micro, 1 CPU, 1 RAM. Ang storage niya, normal magnetic. Pwede rin solid state. And then yung speed, it varies. Kasi T2 is always usually free. Tandaan nyo, ang free tier is 750 hours. So if you want to check more information about the instances, just go to this link. Ito yung instances niya. Okay, so if you want 64 CPU, go for 16x large. $4 hourly rate. Di ba? Kita. Network performance, 25 gigabit. Ang bilis niyan. Ang bilis niyan. Ang storage mo, almost 2 terabyte na NVMe na. Hindi SATA. Ha? Bilis niyan. Ang Windows reserve cost, nagbabayad ka ng $5. No? Reserve. Kung on-demand naman, $7. No? Okay, so nandito lahat. No? Okay, so security group. Remember kanina, we configure security group. Fundamentals of network security. It's as simple as controlling how traffic is allowed or denied in or out the instance. So a while ago, I allowed port SSH, port 80, port 443. Okay, so na-access ko using SSH, na-access ko via browser, yung web server, and we examine outbound, open, any, no? Anywhere in the world by anyone. And then tinry ko mag-ping. Hindi ma-ping, di ba? So I added ICMP protocol sa inbound traffic. Okay? Security groups only contain allow rule. Security groups rules can reference by IP. So paano deny nito? Then don't define. Hindi mo de-define. No? Security groups deep dive. So security groups are acting as a firewall. Para siyang firewall. No? Actually, firewall talaga siya. Pero meron pang another instance ng firewall. No? Mga third party and so on. So firewall regulate access to ports. No? So you have to define what ports you want to allow. It also authorize what range. Let's say gusto ko tong range na to or this specific IP. Siya lang pwede mag-access. And also control outbound. No? So ito yung diagram. This is me. No? I allow 22 SSH then bumalik dito. Actually 21 yan pabalik. You know? Another one, I allow HTTP, in-access ko. Nakita ko yung web server ko. Okay? That's the diagram. So good to know. Ang security group can be assigned to any instance. You don't need to create many security group. Ay, isa lang okay na yan. No? So in my security group, ito yung security group ko. No, gagawin ko tong available. Ito yung security group ko. Pangalan is Launch Wizard. I didn't bother to change. No? Launch Wizard 2. Okay, yan ang aking security group. Pwede ko lagyan na Chris security group. Save. And lockdown to a region. Okay, VPC combination. So naka-lockdown na yun sa region ko. So, ito ako, no? If I type if config to display the IP, my public IP is 172.31.46.39. Okay, so that's pingable. Pag piping ko naman yung IP, ping 172.31.46.39. Hindi ma-ping. Dinilit ko na pala. Dinilit ko na, di ba? Pero sometimes in DNS napiping. Ito yung question. Sir, bakit ito napiping? Naka-cache kasi. Teka, ba't iba yung IP ko? Sandali. Sorry, I was pinging the private. This is my private IP. So, napiping siya, napiping. Didelete ko yung cache. Okay, burado na yan. Reachable pa rin. Pero binila ko na yun Sandali Binila ko na yan, di ba? Examine. So let's examine. Let's say, duda tayo. Examine natin inbound. Security group. Ano ba yung ginamit ko? Ba't ang dami ko security group? Hindi yan. Ito yata yung ginamit ko. Edit. Ay, hindi yan. Yung Chris. Dumami security group ko. Ito ba yan? Naligaw na ako. Okay. Sino dito? Check natin inbound. So this is how we check. Ayun. Kita niyo yan? So this is SSH is allowed. Okay. And then question, sa instance type ko, anong security ginagamit ko? So ito. So remember I have an instance. How to check what VPC or what security group I'm using. So I have two instances. Ito ko. So click ko tong AMI ko. Ito yung security group. Launch Wizard 2. Yung pala yung ginagamit ko. Okay. So I'm gonna edit. This is inbound, almost all. Inbound, okay. Inalaw ko pala all, okay. So if I want SSH, HTTP, and walang ICMP, sige, tanggalin natin. SSH, HTTP lang, okay. So HTTP, anywhere. Okay, so dapat hindi yan maping later. Doubt ako bakit napiping. Yun, hindi na maping. Okay, okay. But, I'm still connected. Ay, hindi. Natanggal ko yata yung nag-timeout na ako. So, kukonect ulit ako. Pati. Is this the one? Open. Yun, connected ako. Tama, connected ako. If I ping Facebook, no? Ayan. Remember, hindi ko inopen outbound. Ayan, kaya hindi ako makaping palabas. Okay. So, which is more secure. Huh? It's good to maintain one security group to avoid confusion. Kanina, ito ko, tatlo kasi security group. If your app is not accessible, then you have to check security group. If your apps gives connection refuse, you have to check in outbound and inbound. All inbound by default is blocked. All outbound is allowed. No? Ganun sa exam. Okay, so you can put as many as services or port you want sa instance. Okay, ito lang yung common port. 22 SSH, FTP if you want to send file, 21. 22 as secure FTP naman, somehow SSH din. Unsecured HTTP port 80, 3389 RDP. Huh? Summary ng SSH, walang pati sa Mac. Pwede ka mag-SSH sa Linux. Okay. Windows 10, pwede ka rin mag-PATI. And you can connect sa Ec2 Instance Connect. Which lectures to watch? SSH on Linux. Windows, paano mag-SSH? Kailangan meron SSH client. All EC2 can be connected using SSH. Troubleshooting, student must have the most problem with SSH. Kanina, problema rin ako sa SSH. So, ganun yung process. Medyo nakakalito. Just, if you wanna connect, watch the YouTube video. Okay? So, ito ako. I have a public IP assigned by ISP. Then, connect ako using EC2 user. This is a standard user, EC2. If you want to create a user, you have to create additional users sa Linux. How to SSH to Windows? Well, ideally RDP, no, hindi SSH. Pero pwede rin, pero you need to have SSH server. Ec2 Instance Connect to your EC2 within your browser. So pwede ka rin mag-connect daw sa browser. So ito yung EC2 ko. No? Punta ako dito sa EC2 ko. You can connect. Ayun, connect. Kita mo yung connect. Okay. Connect using EC2 user by default. Oh, pasok, diba? Okay. Yan. Okay. What else? No need to use a key. If you notice, wala na akong key. Mas mabilis. The magic is that temporary key is uploaded to EC2. So, in-upload na niya. Works only out of the box. Meaning, yung flavor na yon. Okay? Sa iba, hindi gagana yan. And you have to make sure 22 is open. Okay? EC2 instances purchase option. So, meron tayong tinatawag na on-demand. No? This is only like for proof of concept such as 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. In short workload lang. No? Short workload, let's say 2 days times, let's say $1 a day, $2 lang. No? Predictable pricing. Ang reserve naman, minimum ng reservation is 1 year. So reserve instance, ginagamit sa long workload. Let's say yung project nyo tatagal ng 1, 2, 3 years. And can be converted into reserve. No? Yung on-demand na yun. And can be scheduled. Let's say Thursday, power on from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., shutdown at 6 p.m. No? Pwede. Then meron namang spot instance. If you want to purchase spot instance, short workload, cheap siya, mura, no? But the moment you terminate, deleted lahat ng data. Hindi reliable, no? Yung shutdown mo lang na terminate na. So, paano nangyayari yan? So, ganito yan. So, punta ka EC2 and then let's say ito. The moment you hit shutdown, ayan na, stop. Pag in-stop mo, the data is still there but it's still consuming. Pag terminate mo, it will be deleted. Okay, so delikado to. You can also purchase a dedicated host. You can book entire physical server hosted in Amazon. And meron ka ring dedicated instance. No other customer will share your hardware. So paano ginagawa yun? Mas expensive yun. If you launch, tapos gagawa ka ng instance, no? Let's say T2 Micro. So tatanungin ka dito, placement, capacity reservation, ayan, tenancy. Would you like to share with someone else? Or you want dedicated? Mahal yan. Sa'yo lang yung host na yun. No? Or dedicated nga, launch this instance on dedicated host. Sa server which you instantly purchase dedicated instance. Clear ba dedicated? Any question about dedicated? Wala. Okay. Meron ng EC2 on demand. The one I created is EC2. I can terminate later on. So I'm gonna pay for what I use only. And billing is per second. Okay? Bibill ka after the first minute. All other operating system billing is hourly. Okay? So hourly. So meaning, pag 59 minutes, hindi ka mabibill. Pero pag ginamit mo Windows Linux, per second. Okay? Let's say 30 seconds, equivalent to 1 minute na yan. Okay? And has the highest cost but no upfront. So ito yung pinakamahal on demand. The one I created. No? Ang kagandahan nito, no long-term commitment. You can cancel anytime. Easy to reserve instance naman is up to 72% discount. Mas makakamura. No? Minimum of 1 year plus discount. 3 years, mas madaming discount. Purchasing option, walang upfront, no capex. No? And you can reserve the instance na hindi mo ito terminate, running forever and ever, no? As long as you're renting. And recommended for steady state usage. Talagang, let's say, database, wala nang reinstall. Convertible reserve instance, up to 45% discount. Let's say meron kang spot instance, ni-reserve mo, gusto mo 2 years na mag-run yun. Kasi nandun na yung mga apps eh. Nandun na yung mga database, amin na lumipat. No, convert mo into reserve. Okay? Makatipid ka ng 45%. Meron naman scheduled reserve. Yung nga, launch mo what time of the day. Sa spot instance, you can get up to 90%. Okay? Kasi bidding yan eh. No? Hanapin niya sa region. Which one is the cheapest? No? Doon babato ka sa pinakamurang data center. Mumbai, bagsak mo niyan. Okay? Useful for workloads that are resilient to failure, such as batch job, data analysis, pero not suitable ang spot instance for a critical job. Kasi nga, low-end yan eh. Low-end yung instance na yan. How do you select spot instance? Dito. No? So, meron ditong purchasing option, request spot instance. Ayan. So, sa akin, sinabi, availability zone A, B, and C, pare-pareho. So, wala akong choice. No? Lipat ka sa ibang country hanggang makakita ka ng mura. No? Dedicated host is a physical server again with EC2 instance. Capacity, fully dedicated to your use. So, bibigyan ka pa rin ng EC2 instance. Dedicated host can help you address compliance requirements such as government na data cannot be exported other than the local country. No? Allocated for a 3-year period, it's more expensive. Kasi nga physical CPU, physical server, binigay sa'yo, napakamahal. No? Useful to kung marami ka ng license. So kung meron kang 100 Windows server, gamitin mo na lang yun, mas makakatipid ka. Ec2 Dedicated Instance. So, enable the use of dedicated physical server. Yes. No? Pero ang dedicated instance, hindi yun per host billing. Okay? And visibility of sockets, kung ano yung inalat sa'yo, let's say dalawang Intel Xeon na quad core each. So dalawang quad core, meaning 8 cores, no, CPU, dedicated, available. Okay? Pero sa dedicated instance, yung mga VM din na. Okay? So, in short, dedicated instance, it's running on a hardware na binigay sa'yo. Okay? You can share the hardware with other instance and wala kang control over instance placement. Kasi nga, let's say isang physical server, hindi mo pwedeng i-move sa iba. Okay? Let's say gusto ko i-move sa Singapore or sa Hong Kong. Diba? Kasi nga, dedicated lang siya doon. Okay? So, which purchasing option is right for you? So, whether on-demand, reserved, spot, or dedicated, it's up to you. Okay? So, price comparison, on-demand, 10 cents per hour, hourly rate siya. Spot instance naman, mas mura ng 90%, papatak siya ng 0.032 cents. No? Pero you will be tied down to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maganda na. Spot block, kung gagamitin mo lang ng 1 to 6 hours, kung ano yung spot price niya ng times 6 hours. Na. Reserve instance, 12 months, walang upfront. Tingnan nyo yung difference. Walang babayaran. Ha? Pero medyo mahal, 62 cents. Pero if you put a deposit, may upfront ka, bayaran mo na 100%, magiging 58 cents na lang per hour. Mas makakamura ka ng ganun. Reserve, convertible instance, 0.071 cents. Dedicated, well, depende. They will quote you. Dedicated host reservation per hour up to 70% off discount. No? So I've discussed na yung responsibility. No? You have your own responsibility, AWS infra. No? So to summarize EC2, so EC2 instance is using Amazon machine image with Linux Ubuntu plus instance size, which is the T2 micro. We selected 1 CPU, 1 gig RAM, then by default 5 gig storage, and then we manually created network security group, okay, plus the user data, okay. Then security group is like a firewall. We block the ports. We allow the, sorry, we don't block. We allow the ports. EC2 user data. It's a script we launch at first instance. Nag-run tayo ng bootstrap script, which is this one. And then we connect using SSH. Okay. Then I didn't use IMROs. And then we discuss purchasing option. Okay. Any question before we break? We go sa break na din.
None.
None. Okay. Ako magtatanong. Okay. Let's say gusto nyo ng 3 years. Kasi sabi ng project nyo, 3 years ng project natin. Lalagyan ko ng whole contact center software. So which option is the best for you? Esmeralda. Si Frank na lang, Frank.
Dedicated hosts.
Pwedeng dedicated pero mahal yan. Let's say kung 3 years, mag-reserve instance ka na lang. Diba? Reserve instance. Okay, okay. Okay, di pa pala tayo tapos. Meron pa palang question. So that's EC2. Okay. Next is the storage section. So yung hard drive nito, the hard drive we're using, no? LS minus ALTR, hard drive yan, DF minus H, yan. So if you investigate further, meron ako dito, sabi dito, available. Kita nyo ba ito? Lakihan natin appearance, gawin kong 18. Okay. And then, yeah, okay. So nag-DF minus H ako. DF minus H. This file utility, ang available 6.5 gig currently use 1.6 gig. So ang inassign sa akin, 8 gig. So Linux, essentially meron akong 8 gig. Pero ang dami pang space na available, 6.5. So this is my drive, no? Device, the first drive, okay? And then temporary scratch partition. So meron akong 8 gig. So itong volume na to is called EBS. Okay? EBS volume, which is elastic block storage. EBS is a network drive. Network drive lang yan. That's been attached to EC2 habang running. No? This EBS allows me to persist data. Now, even if I reboot this one, meron pa din nandun pa rin data ko. Hindi yan mawawala. No? Nandiyan pa rin yung index HTML. Nandiyan, hindi yan mawawala. Kasi persistent eh. Okay? Yun ang persistent. They can only be mounted to one instance at a time. They are bound to specific AZ. So right now, anong AZ ko? 1A, di ba? Analogy, think of them as a network USB. Para lang siya USB stick. Okay? Na naka-tie down sa instance na yun. Free tier, 30 gig. Meron akong EBS up to 30 gig. No? Can be SSD or magnetic. No? Yun ang free tier. EBS volume is not a physical drive. No? It's a virtual hard drive. It uses network to communicate to the instance, which means, ibig sabihin, babagal, may latency ng konti. No? Pero kagandahan dyan sa drive na yan, dito sa drive na yan, itong drive na to, pwede may detach and attach to another EC2 instance. Pero within the same data center. Okay? Tandaan niyo ha? Pwede ba i-transfer sa ibang data center? Hindi. Okay? That EBS is locked to AZ. Nakalock lang siya sa region mo. Let's say, region ko Sydney. Sydney lang to. Hindi pwedeng lumipat. No? EBS volume is US East, cannot be attached to US East 1B. So, since ang volume ko, remember when I did provisioning, meron akong sinelect dito. Nag 2A yata ako no? So that means hindi ko pwedeng ilipat sa ibang availability zone. Hindi ako pwedeng ilipat sa 2C o 2B. Stay lang ako sa 2A. Okay? Stick lang ako doon sa 2A na yan. And have provision capacity of 8 gig. You get billed for all the provision capacity. So let's say if I expand this one, no, gusto ko 20 gig, no, may bill na yan. May bill na yan. You can increase the capacity. No? So example, EBS mo 10 gig, nasa East A1, 1A. Hindi ko pwede lipat dito. Okay? Pero if they're on the same availability zone, pwede ko i-detach and attach ko dito sa ibang EC2. Pwede ko i-increase from 50 to 100. So if you want to delete one attribute, you have to select storage. Ingat kayo, no? Kasi even if you select your instance tapos nag-delete kayo, nag-terminate kayo, no? Meron pa ring storage yon. You will still be billed on that storage. No? So ito yung EC2 instance ko. If you're gonna go storage, ito yung storage. So first device, and device A, EBS, 8 gig. Okay, 8 gig. Okay, if you want to create a snapshot, lalabas dito. So this is my device. Yan, 8 gig. So it's in 2A. 2A lang siya. Hindi ko pwedeng ilipat sa iba. And then what can you do with the volume? You can detach and then attach. No? You can create a backup such as snapshot. Okay, you can modify the volume. Let's say 8 gig. Lit naman, gawin kong 10 gig. Okay. IEPS niya, 100 over 3,000. Minodify ko. Modify. Okay. So, refresh. So, in use. Currently in use. Okay, nandito. Ito naman 10 gig. No? So, I need to reboot. So, I can be able to utilize. No? Tingnan nyo ano size ng disk ko. Okay. 8 gig 8 gig. Magre-reboot ako. So, magre-reboot ako. So, reboot natin dito sa EC2. So, this is the one. This is the instance. Sabihin ko reboot instance. Okay. So, na-disconnect ako. Na-disconnect siya. Disconnected na siya. Open pati again. So, load AMI2. Tingnan natin kung open na. Booting pa rin, booting pa rin. Still booting. Tapos na yata. So, refresh. Pati. Hindi pa tapos. Okay. Hindi pa tapos. Okay. Balikan natin later. So that's how you expand, no? If you want to expand. Controls EBS behavior when Ec2 instance terminated. By default, yung root EBS deleted. By default, EBS is not deleted. Attribute is disabled. So dapat makita nyo, delete on termination. Okay, you have to select that one. This can be controlled by console. This one. So yung kanina, yung dilemma ko, ano? Preserve root volume when instance is terminated. So kung gusto nyo ma-preserve yung volume, no? Para ma-copy paste nyo, let's say nandun lahat ng web server nyo, no? You can do so. Snapshot is like a backup. You can make a backup of your EBS at a point in time. Let's say I made the backup last night, no? Then I want to restore from last night backup. Not necessary to detach. You don't have to detach the volume to do so, but recommended. No? You can copy snapshot across AZ region. So kanina meron akong AM2, this one, diba? So sa storage ko, no, kung gusto kong gawa ng snapshot to, no, so create snapshot. No? Kaya create ka ng snapshot. Ayun, no, snapshot. Okay, create snapshot. If I created a snapshot, it will create a backup copy. Okay, so that will charge, no, incrementally. Okay. AMI, Amazon Machine Image, is the image created by AWS. You can customize. You add your own software. Let's say, dinagdagan ko ng Apache. Sabi ko, ginawa akong ganito, install HTTPD. So, naglagay ako ng software. And then, install ko yung web server. So, pwede. AMI are built for a specific region. Okay, Sydney region lang ako. You can launch EC2 via public AMI. You can also download your own AMI, then modify. And you can go to a marketplace. So, dito sa AMI na to, kinuha ko lang siya sa AWS. Pero marami pang option, di lang yun, like marketplace. So let's say gusto ko mag-launch ng instance. No? So this is the AWS available images. Okay? If you want to go marketplace, click on AWS Marketplace. Then these are pre-built AWS instance. No? If you want to use Barracuda as a firewall, ito ginagamit namin sa office to, meron kaming physical Barracuda, you can port sa instance nyo. No? Well, why do you need that? Kasi nga, sanay na yung mga engineer sa Barracuda. Okay? And so many more. Napakadami. Machine learning. Napakadami. AMI process from EC2 instance. So, start an instance and customize it. Then stop. Okay? Build an AMI. This will also create EBS snapshot, 8 gig. And then launch AMI. The one I created, launch from AMI. No? So, meron ng AMI. Kinapi lang yun sa hard drive ko. No, kinapi lang sa 8 gig drive ko. Ganun lang siya. Hindi siya nag-i-install manually. If you want a manual installation, merong service ang EC2. It's called Image Builder. Image Builder used to automate creation of virtual machine or container. No? Sa Image Builder, you can automate creation ng server. You can also maintain, you can validate, you can update, and you can upgrade, you can test. No? Can be run on a schedule, let's say 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No? Magpa-provision siya ng bago. No? Para hindi ka nagko-consume ng storage. No? Let's say class natin today. Kung lahat kayo meron kayong instance. So ngayon lang ako magpa-provision. I can set 7 a.m. to provision a new instance. Ganun. Meron ding Image Builder is a free service, only pay for the underlying resources. So itong Image Builder software is free, but the instance you built will be chargeable. Okay? Instance store sa EBS. EBS is network drive. pero limited ang performance. No? Medyo mabagal siya, hindi siya ganun kabilis. If you need high performance, no, select from different instance. Okay? So like faster I/O, may mga caching technology na, tapos highly resilient, tapos meron pang backup and replication. No? So local EC2, ang ginamit ko T2 large ito. So sa i3 large, 35,000 input-output process. No? So far, pinakamabilis is yung bare metal sa baba. Bare metal. Meaning physical yan. 1.6 million IOPS. No? Kumbaga direct hardware execution. Next is the EFS, Elastic File System. So EFS is also a network file system that can be mounted sa EC2 instance. Okay? EFS works with Linux. No? EC2 instance in multi-AZ. So meaning you can perform high availability na. Meaning yung instance na yun can be transferred to different AZ. No? So Elastic is highly available, can be scalable, but a bit expensive. Okay? So it can coexist to different availability zone, no? Zone A, B, and C. So let's compare EBS versus EFS. Remember, EBS naka-tied down sa isang AZ. Okay? Okay? Sa zone 2, another EBS. Samantalang sa EFS, no? Ito yung mismong folder, nandito yung mismong drive, can be accessed from zone 1 and accessible din sa zone 2. Okay? Using EFS address, sa may EFS address na yan. Dito, nakastore sa snapshot mo if you want to transfer to different zones. So, from EBS, di ba, may sa left pane, may create snapshot. Copy mo yung snapshot na yon, then migrate mo sa zone 2. Mano-mano. It's kinda tedious. EFS, meron siyang infrequent access, meaning hindi i-access ng 60 days. Okay? Pero pag in-access mo ng less than 60 days, chargeable na yan. Okay, ingat kayo. If you select IA, kailangan hindi mo i-access ng 60 days. If you access, chargeable. Okay? Then there goes again the shared responsibility model. No? Next one, question. Sir, yung EFS na to, pwede ba i-mount sa Windows Server? Remember our Windows Server's NTFS? No? So you can grant or deny permission. Wala EFS noon. Pang Linux lang siya. Wala EBS noon. So how do we resolve yung storage na may permission sa Windows? It is called Amazon FSX. Okay? So they launched a third-party high-performance file system on Amazon. For Linux, meron silang Lustre. For Windows file server naman, meron silang FSX for Windows. Meron din FSX for NetApp filer, no? Yung mga files niya naka-save sa on-top NetApp storage device, no? So what is a Windows file server? Yun nga, let's say ito yung Windows client mo, then they can map drive G. Let's say meron ka lang drive C and D. Tapos pwede ka mag-map. Makikita mo sa drive G nyo, 1 terabyte of data. Yung pala, nasa cloud lang yun ng AWS. Okay? May EC2 instance dito ka connect. Shared file lang siya. Okay? And pwede siya sa multiple AZ. Okay? Ang FSX is using SMB protocol and Windows NTFS. So yan ang kailangan mo. Na? And can be integrated in Microsoft Active Directory. So if someone asks you, no, gusto ko ng file server sa cloud, AWS, which service are you going to avail? FSX. Okay, lalabas sa exam yan, FSX. Instant storage. So to summarize in storage, so EBS is network drive. Can be mapped to same AZ. Don't be confused as same to an AZ. You can create a snapshot and transfer to different AZ. AMI is ready to use instance. Amazon just copy and save to your instance. Sorry, save to your drive. Meron ding image builder, so you can build your own AMI. Same instance. Meron ding instance store to select yung mga high performance disk. Okay? And lost if instance is terminated. Okay? Then EFS is a network file system. Can be attached to different region. Infrequent access, cost optimized, mas mura. If you're going to access more than 60 days. To address yung Windows Drive, Windows FSX. And Laster for Linux cluster high performance server, Laster. Okay, any question about EC2 Instance Storage?
None.
None. Okay. So ako magtatanong. I'm gonna ask question. So let's say meron tayong on-prem data center. Lahat ng file server natin nandiyan sa Ortigas. No? But I wanna make it highly available, highly scalable, highly resilient. What service I'm going to avail? Anybody? Jomart. Rondel. Or anybody. Glide. Meron ako Windows. Gusto ko yung file server sa AWS naman. Anong service? Anong instance storage ang gagamitin ko? Mr. Russell. Esmeralda. Anybody? FSX. Okay, I'm gonna be using FSX because this is SMB, no? Allowed for NTFS partition. Ayun. Okay? So let's say server ko to, pwede ko i-mount dito yung 2 terabyte. Share ko siya para lahat ng clients ma-access na. So file server FSX sa Windows. Okay? So before we go sa next topic, we're gonna have a long break. So stop ko muna itong recording.